Hello, welcome to episode 15 of Mother's Pride, Sister of Sigmar campaign using the mod I'm Monster mod. Okay. What are the chances of us getting a smuggler? Fair to middling. I don't think we're going to need another halberd. Alrighty. So, do we want some training? Now then. I do... Oh, it's a horrors. We don't want a horrors, do we? That'd be terrible. Yeah, I don't like them.
3 days left. Use them well.
Okay. Let's do this little sucker. So we want Benga. Benga. To get the kill.
Believing yourself alone in what was a residential district, you spread your warband to ransack the nearby houses. Just as your warriors are starting to explore the buildings, however, an enemy warband arrives, ready to attack your dispersed forces.
Oof. Witch hunters. Look at this pile. Keepers of Sigmar's faith. We'll see about that. Oh, pendant, nice. It looks like he's already run out. So we better be quick, because these guys... are probably capable of killing this Pinky in one turn. He is quite close to them. I'm not seeing any impressive flames. It doesn't mean there isn't one there. Somebody's fucking that thing up. We've not got a superior. I'm just going to send Clear Catcher in. It's got to be done. Right, let's hope she can reach. We have got a map. We're not going to kill it. In 3 hits, however.
A new round has started.
Oh.
Objective completed. A new round has started.
Interesting. Bloody hell, Cubby's taking a beating.
A new round has started.
Wow. Ouch. Oh. Oh dear. Fuck. I was lucky. 1 HP. Poor cubby.
A new round has started.
Hello, Lord Raymond. Oh, how long was you streaming for, pal? I'm on a bit of a tight timetable. So I'm going to stream for a couple of hours, then I've got to tidy up and have a bath, and hopefully I can get another stream later on, but I don't know. You like to watch. Right, I want to get some girls round there to do some looting on that wordstone. Oh dear, he's fucked up. Fuck. problem with that is he's going to get shot, isn't he? Oh dear. Well, that settles that one.
A new round has started.
I need to get to him. I don't think we had enough guys to catch him. Yes, Ollie. Good to see you, pal. Got him by the short and curlies here.
A new round has started.
Oh, you bastard. Fuck it, we'll just chill out there. Crushed him.
The faithful need never fear defeat, for great Sigmar's strength lives within them.
The gods are with you. Outstanding. The gods are with you.
That's a lot of XP. 18.
Market stock has been replenished.
Alrighty. I think that one will do nicely. Thanks Ollie, thanks Lordy. We've got a very strong squad here.
A secret cache of equipment in the ruins, but recovering it has become no easy task. Somehow, an enemy warband has learned of your plan. Worse, they're lying in wait and have deployed patrols to flank your warriors.
We need a new leader. Okay, undead.
Objectives updated.
Oh, we got a choga. Fuck, look where he is. Holy shit. That is so bad. Did we just sacrifice her, the new girl? I think lack of another plan says that we have to. Oh dear. We could have someone running from down this end very fast to catch his eye, but we can't really hope for that. Well, it's going to be Benga. Alright, Benga. You could do it. He may even get stuck there. Don't worry, Benga, you'll be fine. Oh, he's up there. What the fuck? I don't think I've ever seen anything up there before.
Objective completed.
Let's see how that works out. Interesting. Well, there's the vamp over there. The bastard. Yeah, I don't think we should do that anymore. It's lost its shine, that move.
A new round has started.
Oh dear. Yikes. Oh. Eek.
A new round has started.
It's a crazy game. Fuck. I think we're going to have to try and kill it. You can parry these bastards.
A new round has started.
Oh, the all alone's not going to be nice here. Fuck. There's no way. Nothing we can do. Oh wow. Whew. Yeah, things are getting real crazy. Fuck. Oh dear. Oh dear.
A new round has started.
Stay away, vamp. Oh, here we go. En route. Go on, you little fucker. $26 to hit. That really sucks. Something else around that corner as well.
A new round has started.
There's a zombie. It's just a death sentence, that, innit? Come on, leave it alone. What a bitch. Okay, you dirty bunch of bastards. Ugh. You can do it, Pooza. Pussy. Why did he get a fear as well? She. Why did she get a fear? He's not in the best of moods either, is he? Oh shit. Forgot he was in ambush. Alright, fucker. Ah. Terrible. Oh yes. Hmm. Oh shit. Yeah, it's not worth dying. Not like this.
A new round has started.
You naughty vampire. Should we just risk it? A hit's a hit, right? Oh, I think the cat wants feeding soon. You dirty little bastard. Howdy there, Ronsonite. Yeah, it's going good with the girls. We've got a very strong squad. We need to replace the leader, although she is doing very well, even in a jaw-broken state. Oh yes, look at that. Well done, Bengal. Right, now I think... should we let the purifier do it? It's not like she can fail, surely. Yeah, there's a lot of missing arms. We've got one. We've got a new novice with one arm with the extra dodge chance. She's doing very well. That was the winning hit. Oops. I think we did really well here against that beast that was chasing us. Nice win, guys. Alright.
Blessed are the triumphant, for in them shines the glory of Sigmar.
Lord of Raymond's being crazy again. New fashion. Forget massive lips and piss flaps. One arm missing is where it's at in modern Mardi culture. Mardi couture. The snuggler. Yep, seems legit. I mean, if she's got one arm, she could, you know, play the game a little bit. Snugglers for everyone. A one-armed snuggle. There's probably a kink for that. Some sick bastard somewhere.
Nice progress.
And that's his thing. Probably no arms and no legs as well, for that
The
matter.
gods are with you. The gods are with you. The gods are with you. Nice progress.
Oh, 1 gold short. Yeah, so I'm going to try and get back on later. I've got to tidy up, have a bath, have something to eat. And I really do want to get it all done for the week. But if I finish at, like, say, by 7:15, I don't think I'm going to, but if I do, I'll come back on for another quick 2 hours. Because that's the kind of guy I am. A video gamer. So, Sabertooth's on 8. So we want to swap him over for this gal. Yeah, we'll get some skills. Alright, cooking on gas. We're glad to have it made it. It was touch and go there for a while for her.
The word stones must be sent today. You are becoming famous.
Oh, so when pay 4 off, we will have a matriarch, level 7.
New hired swords are available.
Oh yes, very nice. Alright, we're all ready for next time. Right, I want to do that raid thing again. If there's someone to raid to. No worries, pal. Right, we're gonna look if anybody worthwhile is on Twitch. Not that they're not worthwhile, I just don't really know them. Or they might be shooting games or something. Oh yeah, Casual Viking. He's a good pal of mine. Rudelbert's playing Baldur's Gate 3. But I kind of owe Casual Viking a load of raids, so it is raid. No. Raid. Casual Viking 89. Ah.
$45. Oh, that's bad. Unless I get him to attack him as well.
Looks like we're playing. Shit.
Reddit. Cheers. Welcome in. I could do this. I need to go quicker, right? I don't like if he moves, it's bad. Now the question was, he could probably deal with that though. The top hair. I have the I can't use my fuck. Yeah, he's gonna have to go sooner. Boar catcher, that's bad. I think that's what we're gonna do. Move at 20. 11. 32 they move. 1, 2, 3. This is
So, having a bit of a break from over in town this week. We're back in hell pissing down rain before you know it though. Chin chin.
and the alleged founder of the Reconnaissance Engineering Assessment Team. We'll skip over this for now as we cover this in depth with Edgar Fouché and the Flying Triangle ARVs. But for now, how about this? INSCOM Special Forces Unit, the illustrious Intelligence Support Activity, ISA, was handed over to JSOC in 2003. The same year, Wolf constructed the CIA Office of Global Access, which allegedly used JSOC for UAP retrievals. ISA is often known as the most secretive and clandestine of JSOC units. Even outside of the UFO working group, just how intimate is US Army INSCOM with legacy programs? And does this working group not sound very similar to a Majestic 12-like structure? Let's take this time to briefly point out another distinction between the book and the manuscript. In Day After Roswell, claims are made of working adjacent to Roscoe Hillenkoetter and the infamous Majestic 12 personnel list under Eisenhower and Truman. Dawn of a New Age sees Corso recognizing the Eisenhower briefing document report, but how he never saw the report at the NSC and White House. The vast majority of criticism against Corso comes from analysis of the Day After Roswell and his claims of technology seeding. The lieutenant colonel's military accolades are beyond question. We have already addressed the stark differences between the manuscript and the book. The book clearly added myriad details to spice up the story of Corso. The manuscript is, well, it's tough reading, but it gives us an unbridled look into Corso's experiences. The manuscript was also completed prior to the release of The Day After Roswell. Colonel Alexander and others were shown the completed manuscript around the time of the book's release. While Alexander, Jacques Vallée, and others are still very critical of Corso's, they all maintain the Lieutenant Colonel's story never wavered. Details were never altered, added, or subtracted. Corso sounded like a tape recorder. You could rewind or fast forward to parts of his disclosures and always hear the same details, never any wavering. Allegedly, Corso had but 24 hours to edit the Day After Roswell book, which led to no oversight on all the creative liberties in the piece. One must ask why the subject of this non-fiction book was stripped of all creative control of the project. In his book, John B. Alexander details a letter he wrote to Corso about all the issues related to the Day After Roswell. Mind you, these criticisms are all leveraged towards the book, still interesting to keep in mind, and I highly recommend looking at this nonetheless, link in the description. Many discrepancies regarding technology seeding has been thrown at Corso, some of which we have already addressed. Jacques Vallée, for example, well versed in computer science, stated Corso's assertions regarding integrated circuitry were not documented facts. Colonel Alexander himself had specific issues with the passive night vision system mentioned by Corso. Alexander stated the genealogy of infrared and NVG technology can all be accounted for. Alexander detailed how he spoke to the director of Night Vision Laboratory at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, Dr. Lou Cameron, who flatly denied how an eye lens of NHI aided in passive night vision breakthroughs. Legendary researcher Stanton Friedman was also extremely critical of Corso, associating him with Bob Lazar, which in my opinion, regardless of skepticism against Corso, is very inappropriate. Friedman criticized Corso for his grand story absent of evidence. This is a viewpoint I can absolutely empathize with, but what does Stanton have to say?
Now, entirely differently, in terms of background, Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso came out with the book on the 50th anniversary of Roswell, first published right in Roswell, called The Day After Roswell, in which he claims that when he was at the Foreign Technology Desk of the Army Research and Development Command at the Pentagon under General Trudeau, he surreptitiously slipped a filing cabinet full of advanced technology, wreckage from Roswell, into the hands of American industry, and he saved the world. That's how we got Kevlar and micro-integrated circuits and a whole long list of things. And it was a great story. And the foreword of the book was by Senator Strom Thurmond, the oldest serving member of the Senate, who said nice things about Corso, but in his intro, his foreword says nothing about Roswell.
In his manuscript and book, Corso was indeed what you could describe egotistical, but in his memoirs he never once claimed to have been some sort of world savior. He was very patriotic and simply aimed to strengthen the army. This is obviously not Friedman's fault, as the book was his only available analysis on Corso at the time.
Well, to make a very long story short, when you start checking on Colonel Corso, Lieutenant Colonel Corso, things just don't check out. He provides no validation for any of the claims. There's no index in the book either. They say new documents finally released. There's nothing new in there. And many people have gone through. I know one PhD who was a colonel in the military he sent me a list of 92 false claims made in the book. 92. I mean, just technically wrong all over the place. Well, you can blame that on the co-author maybe. But some of the discoveries, a physicist just won a Nobel Prize, for example, for work done 3 years before Corso was connected with the Army Research and Development Group. He's a nice gentleman. I met him while he was alive. But his claims, Senator Thurman withdrew his forward, wasn't in the next edition of the book, because it was written for an entirely different book about Corso's activities. Corso talked about the FBI, his good buddy Hoover.
What level of frequency are you currently living at? At low frequencies, we get entangled with our unfulfilled desires, and we often feel a deep sense of unease and a general lack of purpose. And to be honest, most people live at these lower frequencies. But wherever you're at right now, you'll find that working with your gene keys is going to raise your frequency and improve every area of your life. Because as your frequency goes up, you'll find that it's much easier to live in this world. And you won't be so weighed down by everything that's going on around you. We truly are the architects of our own evolution. We're going to be doing the activation sequence, which is the first of the gene keys sequences. And we're going to be learning what our shadows really are and how we can transform them so that we can unlock our 4 prime gifts.
When his FBI file was released, Hoover had nothing but bad things to say about Corso. Now, it muddied the waters. It got a lot of attention. Why would such a distinguished military man? Well, the real military people will tell you. He only made lieutenant colonel after 22 years in. A lot of lieutenant colonels, not nearly as many full colonels. So it's another example of taking advantage, opportunism, if you will. He also claimed that he was a member of the National Security Council. In a sworn statement for a lawyer who was going to go after the government to spill out all Colonel Corso's files. Well, I checked with the Eisenhower Library. He not only was never a member of the National Security Council, which is very prestigious indeed, he never attended a meeting of the National Security Council. He was a liaison between the Security Council and some other groups. It doesn't help ufology to have this kind of thing going on. People accept a great deal, and his book sold well, but I'm sorry, it isn't what it claims to be. It's not a real expose of the truth about Roswell and flying saucers and government's new technology. Cut.
Now in July of 2024, John Greenwald and the Black Vault published documents released by the FBI on Corso, and no documents discussing UFOs. A portion of these documents pertain to a 1964 to 65 FBI background check on Corso for his prospective position on the Immigration and National Security Subcommittee of the House of Representatives. Corso had allegedly provided some unfounded claims in the past, according to these documents, delivering a list of Fabian socialists to his good friend Arthur Trudeau. The FBI was unable to validate these claims. Corso was also investigated for spreading claims garnered from CIA sources that Lee Harvey Oswald, assassin of JFK, was an FBI informant. Now, Oswald being either an FBI or CIA informant probably does not seem too unlikely to everybody. Regarding a Soviet defector, Michael Goleniowski, the FBI documents state, quote, "Another government agency has characterized Corso as a parasite who has never produced any intelligence through his own efforts, but has profited from information developed by dedicated government agents and investigators," end quote. All of these critical files on Corso were cross-references and not main files, meaning the FBI never officially investigated Corso. From these files, it does appear Corso liked to quote-unquote waste the FBI's time, making accusations. No content here actually discusses his duties with the Foreign Technology Division, let alone the Army. And of course, it is odd the selection of documents released when they were released. Why are there no documents on Corso's Army position, and why are there no documents on the Foreign Technology Division? My greatest issue with Corso arises from a massive first-hand experience relegated to the very end of his manuscript. Remember, Corso claimed to have witnessed an extraterrestrial body in 1947, observed UFOs on radar at ballistic missile sites in 1958 and 1959, and eventually studied materials recovered from UAP crashes for the Foreign Technology Division. Corso's affidavit says as much without reference to the Nike missile site encounters. However, at the end of this manuscript, Corso recounts an incident while in command of a missile silo at White Sands Missile Range. Corso claimed while driving alone in an isolated area, he sought shelter from the heat in an abandoned mine. Within the mine, he claimed to have encountered face-to-face a being of non-human intelligence. The being was drawn in Corso's manuscript and communicated to him telepathically. We can also see him relay drawings of this being in a long-lost interview featured on Weaponized with George Knapp. The being wished to leave the surrounding area, however active radar interference from nearby installations were preventing its craft's departure. A common theory by Corso and some Roswell researchers is radar systems interfered with craft navigation leading to crashes. I am still very skeptical on this point. Corso asked the being what he would get in return for lowering the radar coverage. The being responded, quote, "A new world if you can take it," end quote.
If you want to build an app and have no idea how to code or where to start, check out Base 44. I built this daily habit tracker that helps users log small wins, track their mood, reflect on past entries, and see how far they've come. It's fully functional, and I didn't write a single line of code. You start by describing your idea, what you want it to do, the features, the look and feel. Now watch Base do its magic, designing the interface, building the database, wiring the logic. It's like asking.
Corso would then grant the being's wish when he returned to his installation. This experience was so profound to him, he would often contemplate the meaning of the statement. During life, Corso would even relay this story to John B. Alexander, George Knapp, and possibly others, including a film to his grandchildren somehow Danny Sheehan saw.
I found to be extraordinarily important the little 8mm home movie that Colonel Corso actually produced to be shown to his grandchildren after he died. This I found to be extraordinarily persuasive. And I got to see the film, but it wasn't supposed to be shown until after he died. And I was shown the film, and it shows him talking to his grandchildren, saying that even though I'm gone now, I wanted to make sure you understood this. And what he did is he talked about the fact that back in 1945, in July, before we had even dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, while they were experimenting with the nuclear bomb out in the desert at Alamogordo and White Flats, that in New Mexico, he in fact was one of the security officers there, and he said that they were seeing UFOs. He told his grandchildren from the grave, basically, on the little 8mm home movie, that he had been there and that saw the UFOs, and that he took a lunch break to go leave and went off into the hills somewhere to go to lunch, and he saw one of the craft that had landed. It had been somehow disabled by the radar that was up all around the proving grounds, and he had a direct contact with the UFO occupants of the vehicle, and they communicated to him telepathically to please take down the radar just temporarily to allow them to flee. And he actually did that. He told his grandchildren, he went back and as a range officer ordered them to shut down the radar for just a short time to do some kind of recalibration of it. And at that point, the UFO craft fled. shot off into the sky. Now that's Corso talking to his grandchildren in a private, never intended to be made public 8mm film. And so I found that quite convincing about Corso. So when Corso reports that he was actually put into possession of some of the technology that had been recovered from the Roswell crash, I tend to give it a considerable amount of credibility. And the fact that the various aerospace corporations try to set forth some sort of a long explanation about how they really developed the silicon chip, they really developed the fiber optics, they really developed the other technology that Corso attributes to the Roswell crash. That's exactly what they would do. There's not any doubt about it, that they would obfuscate and they would try to construct some sort of an alternative explanation for how they developed themselves this technology. So I'm just saying that I find the Corso testimony more credible than many people do.
I must be very clear here how Sheehan is indeed incorrect about the 1945 date. Corso claimed this event occurred when commander of the ballistic missile firing range at Red Canyon, part of White Sands. This station was in 1957 to 1958. My issue here is this is a truly consequential encounter if true. Initially, I believed this passage to be a dream or metaphor until I read more about how many others Corso would tell this story to. Unfortunately, this is an issue that plagues much of the UFO realm. Witnesses stating disclosures, then adding, well, and then this happened and then that happened, far after their initial disclosures. One would imagine such an intimate encounter with a non-human intelligence biologic would be featured in most of Corso's disclosures. Make of this passage what you will, however, it does leave somewhat of a sour taste in my mouth that such a dramatic encounter is relegated to the very back part of his manuscript. Hey guys, it's UAP Gerb. Thank you so much for joining me as we took this around 90 minute deep dive into the claims of Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso. Now, before we get started and kind of give this conclusion, a lot of the time you'll see Corso mentioned as Colonel Philip J. Corso. I have never once been able to verify that Corso was indeed a full bird colonel, so thus I try to stay true to what I know as fact and what I've seen on his military records and call him Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso. So the reason I took on this project, quite often I'll see people either pro-Corso or anti-Corso, and much of their arguments crux on the Day After Roswell book. A lot of the people who disregard Corso or put away his claims have a unsavory taste in their mouth from the Day After Roswell, whether that be to some of the unsubstantiated and wild claims, such as Corso forcing a CIA guy to self-delete, or some of the egotistical megalomania of Corso in the Day After Roswell book about him being a world savior, and just some of the perfect synchronicities of, perfect descriptions of the Roswell crash and Roscoe Hillenkoetter and the Majestic 12. So I wanted to take a step back and read the pure manuscript, Dawn of a New Age of Corso. This is a 176-page manuscript. If you ever watch this video again, if you're interested, I do recommend reading the full thing. However, it is a very dreadful read. Most things are talked about 8 or 9 times throughout the manuscript, so it can just be a trudge to get through. Now, I do notice that there are still some differences between Corso's affidavit and the Dawn of a New Age manuscript, and this being the description of the encounter at White Sands in 57 and 58, which we just touched on in the end of the video, of encountering a non-human intelligence with almost a different physiognomy to the being he claimed to have seen at Fort Riley in 1947. So that description still leaves a bit of a strange taste in my mouth due to reading it after about 120, 140 pages into the manuscript. At first, like I mentioned, I did think it was a metaphor, a new world if you could take it, something to teach his grandchildren to learn from, but Corso is alleging that this is a true incident. He not only wrote this in his manuscript in a film to his grandkids that somehow Sheehan saw, but also told John B. Alexander, Jacques Vallée, and George Knapp about this experience. So let's kind of dive into some of the things I found very interesting, because I do think there's a lot of very credible statements made in the manuscript. Now, I cannot speak to the veracity of the technology seeding claims. I'm not an expert in integrated circuitry. I'm not an expert in computer science. I'm not even an expert in metallurgy. That was one of my worst classes, material science and the university. So I cannot speak to that. That is why I tried to put a balanced take, of course, those claims and some traditional history. But what we can speak on is some of the factual accuracies of U.S. Army R&D at the time. You know, I know we analyzed that primer quite a bit, so it was fascinating to see kind of the Army's need for a centralized R&D project under Trudeau, spearheaded in 1958. Just like Corso said, that's when the golden age of Army R&D began. It was also very interesting to see back in the late 50s and early 60s, the U.S. Army was trying to kind of get with semi-private institutions and universities in order to flourish under Army R&D. This is something that we talk about quite often, FFRDCs and UARCs and reverse engineering programs and legacy programs, utilizing these sorts of institutions for probably material study and so forth. And also the Foreign Technology Division. This is something I think is one of the most crucial aspects of this video that I've seen almost nobody else talk about. The Foreign Technology Division under which Corso worked was U.S. Army, not Air Force. This is not the infamous Foreign Technology Division out of Wright-Patt. Now, we can ask ourselves, why is there no information about this Foreign Technology Division? Why can we see nothing about it except in the actual military documents under Corso? I myself have some FOIA documents out to try to investigate this further, but as we've known with the Interplanetary Phenomenon Unit with the U.S. Army, there are some weird institutions that somehow exist through institutional memory. I'll be interested to see if I can pry anything free from FOIA regarding the Army's Foreign Technology Division. However, my hopes aren't necessarily high, that being that if this was indeed one of the first structured U.S. legacy programs, I'm sure we'll get no information. And I do want to touch on that because if Corso's claims are indeed true, and I look favorably upon the claims of Corso, we'll just say that there's some claims that still bewilder me, like the NHI encounter and so forth. But this program, started in 1960, would likely be one of the first structured U.S. legacy programs utilizing corporations, Bell Labs and some of the Fortune 500 companies, as well as universities and semi-private institutions. So if these disclosures and testimonies are indeed fact, we can extract a lot of interesting data and worthwhile investigation here, seeing how legacy programs were structured and framework. And that is something that could extend to today, which I find highly likely, seeing as I do believe in modern day, or at least the early 2000s, the Army's role in legacy programs has often been R&D, to try and equip the modern warfighter with reverse engineered technologies of unknown origin.